Welcome to Vanish Mode. I'm Jordan Ewell.
And I'm Taylor Lorenz.
And the entire political landscape could look totally different in just 2 years. Here's why. Elon Musk just issued a massive threat to the Republican Party. He said he'll create a new Republican Party, the American Party, if they pass Trump's big, beautiful bill. Now, Taylor, have you been following this threat, the potential fallout, and the ramifications for the Republican Party? What do you make of this?
I think this is so interesting because I feel like on the right, where we have this fracturing between Elon and Trump and this anger over the bill, although I think it might eventually resolve, we also have this fracturing of the left and the Democrats with Zohran Mamdani, sort of upsetting the Democratic establishment. And then also this new Project 2029 type of thing that the Democrats are getting together to push, which is this sort of like ripoff. It's sort of like a Timu Project 2025, but like first right-leaning centrist Dems to try to reclaim power for 2029.
We could be looking at in 2029 a bifurcated Republican Party and a Democratic Party that's split in half, which would be extremely interesting for the midterms going into 2030. This is an opportunity for both parties to remake themselves, but also for factions within the party to emerge and gain a foothold. Now, this Project 2029 plan, I looked through some of the reporting on it, and what is interesting to me is it certainly seems like it's in response to Mamdani's win in New York. He, of course, won on a robust set of populist and progressive policies that appealed to younger voters. The numbers that we're seeing out of younger voters in New York are remarkable. That, I think, should inform Democrats of what their strategy should be going forward. But Project 2029 is the same Democratic policies written down in a policy book, something that isn't really accessible and certainly doesn't have this digital or internet sophistication that Democrats purportedly want right now. And they think the problem really isn't the policies, it's just how they message them. So to me, Taylor, it's the same thing in a more boring format and just hoping for a different result. Am I missing something here?
No, I think you're 100% right. I mean, it reminds me of a lot of the discourse that we saw on the app right after Zohran won, like that night and the night after. You had people all over the Democratic establishment, from like sort of the more traditional like lobbyist types and consultants, even establishment influencers like Harry Sisson, saying things like the lesson that we should learn from Zohran Mamdani's win is, TikTok and short form video is important. And all that matters is like how you communicate your message, not what that message is, not what the policies are. And I just think that we see this over and over again. This is the lesson that Kamala Harris seemed to take from Trump. I mean, the reality is if short form video, itself could just as a medium could persuade people, Kamala leaned into that more than anyone else. The thing is, she had a really wildly unpopular message. And I think that's what Democrats sort of seem frustrated by. And they really want to make Pete Buttigieg happen. And they just sort of keep thinking like, if he does enough TikToks, maybe we'll win. When the reality is that they're clinging to a set of policy proposals that are just increasingly out of step with everyone under the age of 40.
So I'm totally with you that the takeaway should not be that Democrats just need to be on TikTok more, or they need to be doing more vertical videos. That said, I don't want to discount how smart and savvy Zohran's campaign was.
Sure,
they were taking, to many people, boring issues like business permitting in New York and making it interesting and appealing. Did you see that video of him talking to halal cart operators?
New York is suffering from a crisis, and it's called halalflation. Today, we're going to get to the bottom of this. How much does a plate of halal cost right now from this truck?
$10.
$10.
chicken over rice, lamb over rice, $10.
$10?
Yeah.
When you're a street vendor, you have to pay for the food, the plates. How much do you have to pay for your permit?
Before it was 22K.
17,000.
How much does a license cost if you get it from the city?
I think 400.
And who are you paying?
The permit owner.
You're not paying the city.
No.
You pay the permit owner $22,000 just so you can sell this food.
Yes.
And who is this?
A random guy.
Have you ever applied for a permit?
Yeah, I'm applied and no come anything.
It's long wait. Number 3,800 something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think he really did a good job of like humanizing small business owners and like humanizing the people in New York and showing the real human effect of these bad policies and showing like here's average hardworking New Yorkers, and here's how they're struggling, and here's how the policies that I, want to act would change that. Another person that's done really successfully is Chi Osei, the city councilman in New
Yes,
York as
yes.
well. Yeah, who's what he did is essentially eliminate broker fees, but you don't have to pay an extra 2 months rent broker fee when you rent an apartment that you found on Zillow anyway. And the way that he did that was really speaking to New Yorkers, getting on the internet and sort of like communicating how this would work and why it was beneficial to working New Yorkers. So yeah, it's brilliant, and they're amazing at speaking to the people, but that's also because they have a fundamentally popular message. A huge reason that the Democrats fail and flop so hard online is because nobody wants to listen to them. Their message is unpopular, and they don't like to be in spaces where they're challenged. Let's not forget that the Democratic Party is also currently pushing some of the most aggressive online censorship legislation that we've seen in decades, where they're pushing things like the Kids Online Safety Act, the Take It Down Act, they're pushing age verification, all of these things that are essentially censorship bills to restrict the power of speech online and to restrict people's ability to come together online and organize, to dismantle activist systems and dismantle any sort of dissent on the internet. So I don't think that they actually want to hear from people online or engage with the public. I think they just want their old, out of date, tired messaging to be popular, right?
Yes, if you look at some of the participants in this Project 2029, it is people who have had outsized influence over the Democratic Party's policies and priorities for years. These are people like Neera Tanden, Jake Sullivan.
Oh God, Neera Tanden. Neera Tanden is the one that wanted to remove all anonymity from the internet and silence all speech online. That Neera Tanden.
Right.
These people are so fundamentally unserious.
Yes, and Jim Kessler, founder of the centrist group Third Way. These are not people who are trying to dramatically shift the Democratic Party or its policies. They want to preserve the status quo, and they want to protect corporate interests. The lesson from Zohran's campaign is that prioritizing issues that matter to young people, who are a major force now in the broader electorate, will lead to victory. And in this case, a shocking victory. You see polling that shows that over half of Democrats want a change in Democratic Party leadership. I would argue that an extension of that is they want a change in the people who help shape what leadership does. And that is people like this. It's Sullivan, it's Tanden, and it's Kessler.
I think it's also going to be just interesting. I mean, we were talking earlier about the Republican Party and how they respond to all of this. I do think that we are seeing this maybe fracturing from Elon. I don't think that he'll actually follow through and make his America Party, because I just don't think he wants that sort of responsibility. And I think it would fail. I also think that Trump is going to die before 2029. Like, I just don't see him lasting that long. And I feel like, I mean, it's just the reality. Like, I don't know.
It would be a different political landscape.
Well, like, people with hate in their heart always live the longest. But like, I see him getting more and more sort of elderly and losing power in that way, whether he's dead or just becoming increasingly irrelevant because he can't run again. And I don't think, like, I think that once Trump is gone, the alliances between so many factions on the right are sort of up for grabs again. And so I do think that Elon could effectively seize more power, but I don't think that like his break with the GOP is going to happen until Trump goes away, like because he's dead, or, in sort of like in a state like Joe Biden, where he's, essentially a walking corpse.
So what this could look like is Elon Musk dumps tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars into a new PAC or some sort of new party infrastructure. He wants to call it the America Party. Okay. They could field primary challengers to Republicans who push for lower federal spending or lower government spending, addressing the deficit, which is just what the Republican Party of the 90s was. But nevertheless, that could create turmoil within the Republican Party, could lead to split tickets, could lead to opportunities for, say, more progressive candidates to challenge in those races. We could see unexpected victories. They could kneecap their own party as a result of this. And for him, it's not managing the day-to-day operations of this infrastructure or this organization. It's just throwing money into this effort and allowing operatives to do the work for him. Create more chaos within that party, by all means. Don't let me stop you. To him, that's nothing. And it reflects the problem in our system that allows people that wealthy to just dump unlimited amounts of money into our political system.
And I think that will be interesting to watch as the midterms come up, because I think the midterms are coming up sooner than we think. We're already seeing a bunch of candidates online starting to campaign.
This group, Run for Something, which helps field and train new entrants into the political space, said they saw a record number of signups. People were interested in running for public office. We're going to see a ton of new blood in the next couple cycles. It's interesting, and we'll be following it. If you're still with us, this show is called Vanish Mode. We're excited to start it. It's something we've been talking about for months. We want to take a closer look at some of the biggest stories in media, in politics, in pop culture, entertainment, whatever, before they vanish from the cultural zeitgeist.
If you like what you heard, please subscribe to this channel. Give us a like, a follow, a comment. Let us know what you want to hear us cover. And we'll be back soon with another episode of Vanish Mode. Thanks for watching.